Welcome to Identity Matters with Dr. Kathleen Perry. Join in to explore one of life's big questions. Who am I really? The Identity Matters podcast will show you that you are and always have been innately whole and worthy just as you are. So slow down, relax, and enjoy the show.
I've been thinking about you a lot this past week. I know what it's like when your body doesn't feel right and your mind starts spinning out worst case scenarios. For you, maybe it's a pain that just won't go away, or test results that you've been waiting on, or maybe just this low-level hum of worrying that sort of follows you around all day. And I know how exhausting it is. Not just the physical part, not just what your body's doing, but the mental part of it. The constant checking in and scanning your body, the Googling that you do to try to figure out what might really be wrong or what's something that I could do. The trying to figure out if this time it's really something serious. So today, I just want to sit with you in that for a little bit. Not to fix it, not to talk you out of it, but to see if there's something here that might help you carry it a little lighter. And again, I'm not dismissing what's going on, but there's some real power in just holding it more loosely. Maybe for you, it's waking up in the middle of the night with your heart racing, convinced that something is terribly wrong. Or it could be that thing where you finally get good news from your doctor and you feel good for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And the next thing you know, your mind just finds something else to worry about. Whatever it looks like for you, there's something I've noticed both in my own life and in sitting with women just like you. The anxiety, this anxiety about your health and your well-being, it's not actually coming from your body. But I know it. I know it feels like it is. So what if the suffering, not the symptoms, but the suffering is coming from somewhere else entirely, not from your body? I know that might sound ridiculous because those symptoms are real. Your back is throbbing. Your heart is really beating over 100 beats per minute. And almost everything you eat causes bloating. Whatever it is for you, it's real. It's really happening. I'm not saying that none of it's happening. What I'm talking about here is the suffering, the fear, the dread, the obsessing, the catastrophizing, the awfulizing. That part, that's not coming from your body. That's coming from what you're thinking about your body, the stories the mind is telling. And it can spin some good, scary stories. Here's the thing. When your mind is churning out terrifying stories about what a symptom means, your body's responding. You can feel it. You know what I'm talking about. Your heart beats faster, your neck tightens up, your hands get clammy, your stomach tightens, you just feel worse. And it's not because the original thing got worse, although it might when that thinking happens, but it's because we've layered this fear on top of it. You end up in this loop. A symptom arises in your body and it triggers some thinking. And then the thought creates more sensation in the body. And the more sensation triggers more thought. It ends up feeling like one big tangled mess that you just can't get out of. About a year ago, during a stressful time, my mom became apparent and kind of suddenly to me that she just could no longer live alone. So I was super busy trying to make all these arrangements and make decisions and talk to her about this transition that was really, really hard for her. And during that time, I started noticing these heart palpitations. Well, at first I decided I'm just going to ignore them. And for good reason, actually. I knew I was under a lot of stress, and I had felt PVCs before, premature ventricular contractions, just kind of a fluttering. Athletes have them a lot. I'm not necessarily an athlete, but I felt it before. And so I just kind of let it go. And my stress escalated. The circumstances of my life were just crazy busy, a lot going on. But eventually my mind started in. And I found myself sitting in front of the television, which I don't do very often, but when I did, watching ads on TV for the Watchman implant and seeing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, making these commercials and talking about the risk of stroke. And then my mind would go to my aunt who had a stroke at age 70, who's been in a nursing home as a result for the last 11 or 12 years. And then there was a weekend where I went to a retreat, kind of a meditation-like retreat with some teaching, really nice, over in the Austin area of Texas. And I rented this room, a VRBO, and I was in Dripping Springs, Texas. I got there after dark, and I just followed my GPS to find my way there. And I laid down to go to sleep that night, and oh my gosh, the heart started skipping beats. And the more I thought about it, the more I worried about it, it was almost as if I could feel it up in my throat. So again, I was in that loop where there was a sensation in my body. I labeled it AFib. The mind started telling stories about it, and the sensations seemed to escalate and get a whole lot worse. I realized that I had no idea where the closest emergency room was. And I just found myself, living into this scary future. My heart followed right along. My thinking was not responding to my heart. My heart was responding to my thinking. But let me ask you something. Has there ever been a time when you had the exact same symptom, maybe something even worse, but your mind wasn't worried about it, so it just didn't bother you as much? Because at that VRBO, there I was, laying in bed with time for my mind to do all that crazy thinking. But the next morning when I got up and I got to the workshop and we did some meditation, my heart calmed down. So for you, maybe you were absorbed in something like that, a conversation or working on a project or playing with a kid or maybe throwing a ball with your dog, and you forgot about your pain, your symptom. You forgot about it for a while. And then later you remembered it and thought, I didn't even notice that for the last hour. And it's not because the symptom went away. It's because your thinking shifted. And when your thinking shifted, your experience shifted. That's not a trick. It's not a distraction. It's just how this works. The experience is not coming from your body. It's coming from your thoughts about your body. That's just how we're built. I'm not saying that you can think your way out of real health issues. What I'm saying is that the suffering, the weight of it, the fear of it is actually optional. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because once you see where it's actually coming from, it loosens its grip. What I want to explore with you today is what happens when you start to see that. And not as something that you have to work at or remember or some kind of a practice, but just seeing it as something that's true. So here's what I'd invite you to notice this week. Not your symptoms, but your relationship to them. So you are going to notice your symptoms. But instead of focusing on the body, let's see if you can shift your relationship to them. See if you can catch the moment where the sensation shows up, and then your mind starts spinning a story about what it means. There's a little gap there, and it can be very, very subtle. But see if you can catch that. There's the sensation, and just for a split second, there's a gap before your mind starts telling the story about what it means. So you don't have to do anything about that. You don't have to fix the thought or try to talk yourself down or out of it or think something positive. Just see if you can spot the difference between the thing itself and what you're thinking about it. Because once you start to see that, everything changes. It might not be overnight. It might not be perfectly, but it does change. So thank you for being here with me today. And if you're interested in exploring this on a deeper level, I have a new course beginning, and we're going to talk exactly about this sort of thing and many other things, including health anxiety and how the body heals and what we can do to support this intelligence in our body that spins the planet, makes your heart beat, causes babies to grow and flowers to bloom, what's already happening inside of you. It's a course that's going to begin on May 26th. It'll be on Tuesday evenings, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. If you're at all interested in it, just shoot me an email at office@drkathleenperry.com, and the email address will be in the show notes as well. With much love. See you next time. Thank you for listening to Identity Matters. I hope you found this episode insightful. If you're ready to delve further into this journey of self-discovery and uncover your innate wholeness, I invite you to consider one-on-one coaching with me. Together, we can explore the unique challenges and opportunities in your life or your business or both. And through that exploration, help you align with your true self. To learn more about my coaching services, visit drkathleenperry.com/services.